Level 1. Candidate. You arrive before sunrise. Naval Special Warfare Center, Coronado, California. The sky is dark purple. The ocean looks endless, angry. You stand in formation with a group of strangers. Some are huge. Some are quiet. Some look terrified. All of them volunteered. All of them think they belong here. An instructor walks down the line slowly, boots crunching gravel. He stops in front of you. You sure about this? You nod. He doesn't smile. Good, because you won't be by tomorrow. The whistle blows, and everything begins. You run, miles on soft sand that eats your energy. You swim, freezing ocean water that steals your breath. You carry boats, rubber hulls pressing into your skull while your legs scream. Day 1 becomes day 3. Then day 5. Sleep disappears. Food becomes irrelevant. Pain becomes normal. The instructors don't yell much. They don't need to. They just watch. Every hour, someone quits. A helmet hits the bell. Clang, another gone. Clang, another dream dies. You start noticing something strange. The strongest men drop first. The loudest quit fastest. The ones who survive barely speak. Then comes Hell Week. 5.5 days. Almost no sleep. Endless cold. Constant movement. You crawl through mud. You paddle boats through black water. You carry logs until your shoulders go numb. At some point, your brain starts playing tricks. The beach looks like it's moving. Voices echo that aren't real. You forget your own name. But you keep moving. Because quitting means the pain meant nothing. And somehow, when the sun rises on the final day, you're still standing, which means you just unlocked the next level. But the real transformation hasn't even started yet. Level 2. SEAL Trainee. The trident isn't yours yet. You've survived selection. But now the real education begins. BUD, S Phase 2. Combat diving. The ocean becomes your classroom. Night dives. Black water. No moon. Just the quiet hum of your breathing apparatus. You descend beneath the surface. Darkness swallows everything. Your world shrinks to the faint glow of instruments. You navigate underwater using nothing but a compass. No landmarks. No light. Just instinct. Sometimes, instructors sabotage your gear. Air hoses tied in knots. Masks ripped away. Your heart spikes. Panic tries to take over. But panic kills divers. So you slow your breathing. Untangle the chaos. One movement at a time. Above water, the instructors watch carefully. They're not testing strength anymore. They're testing control. If your mind breaks underwater, you never come back up. Then comes land warfare. Phase 3. Guns replace fins. Desert replaces ocean. You train in small units. Clear buildings. Ambush targets. Disappear into shadows. Live fire drills crack through the air. Rounds snap past concrete walls. Every mistake echoes loudly. One wrong movement could mean death in the real world. But the instructors don't stop you. They let the pressure build. Because pressure reveals truth. Weeks pass. Your body hardens. Your mind sharpens. You stop thinking like a civilian. You start thinking like a hunter. Finally, the day arrives. You stand in formation again. But this time, the instructors look different. Less hostile. More observant. A small metal object is placed into your hands. The SEAL Trident. A golden eagle gripping a trident, pistol, and anchor. You've officially become a Navy SEAL. But earning the badge isn't the same as surviving the job. Because the next level begins the moment you join your first team. Level 3. SEAL Operator. Your first SEAL team feels like another planet. The men here are quiet, efficient. Their gear is worn, customized. Their eyes are calm in a way that feels unnatural. These are operators. Real missions. Real consequences. You're the new guy. Which means everything falls on you. Extra gear. Extra tasks. Extra scrutiny. You carry radios, ammo, breach charges. You move faster than everyone else because you have to. No one says it out loud, but you can feel the question hanging in the air. Do you belong here? Training never stops. Urban combat, mountain warfare, sniper drills, close quarters battle. You repeat movements until they become reflex. Kick door, flash bang, clear corner, target down, move, move, move. But then one night, training ends. The mission brief begins. A small room, dim lights, satellite images projected on the wall. A compound somewhere far away. High-value target. Unknown number of hostiles. You listen carefully. The room smells like coffee and gun oil. Your heartbeat is steady. But deeper down, something shifts. Because this time, the bullets will be real. Helicopter rotors thunder through the night. Your team loads silently. No speeches, no dramatics, just nods. The aircraft lifts into darkness. And suddenly you realize something strange. All the pain, all the training, all the years, they led to this single moment. But what happens next will decide if you move up the ranks or never come home. Level 4, Petty Officer. Time changes things. You're no longer the new guy. Your movements are sharper, your instincts faster. You've seen combat, heard real gunfire echo through real buildings. You've kicked doors that didn't lead to training targets. Now you carry authority. It's not about rank alone. It's about trust. You lead smaller elements inside missions. 2 men, sometimes 4. You make decisions in seconds. Left hallway or right. Advance or hold. Shoot or wait. The difference between those choices can mean life or silence. You start noticing the younger operators watching you. They copy your movements, your breathing, even your silence. Because leadership here isn't loud, it's precise. Another mission, another dark helicopter ride. This time you're briefing the plan. Your voice stays calm, even though deep down you know something dangerous about leadership. Every decision now carries weight. If you're wrong, someone else pays. And the higher you climb, the heavier that weight becomes. Level 5, Chief Petty Officer. Years pass. Deployments stack together like fading photographs. Cities, deserts, mountains, night raids blur into one long memory of rotor blades and gunfire. Now you're a chief, one of the most respected positions in the teams. You're no longer just executing missions. You're shaping them. Young SEALs walk into your office for advice. Some hide fear, some hide ego. You see through both instantly because you've been them before. You train the next generation, push them harder than they think is fair because you know something they don't. The battlefield punishes weakness without warning, so you prepare them physically, mentally, emotionally. Then one day, a new mission appears, more complicated than usual, more risk, more unknown variables. Command asks for your recommendation, and suddenly the room goes quiet because everyone knows your decision will send men into danger. And once that order leaves your mouth, you can't take it back. Level 6, Senior Chief. Leadership at this level feels different. You're not kicking down doors anymore. You're shaping entire operations. Intelligence reports pile across your desk. Drone footage, satellite imagery, human intel. Every detail matters because mistakes now ripple across entire teams. You visit training grounds often, watch younger SEALs push through brutal workouts. You recognize the same determination you once had, but you also see something they don't: how fragile survival really is. Experience brings clarity, and clarity brings a quiet weight. Late nights, planning sessions, mission rehearsals. Sometimes you stare at the map long after everyone leaves, because you know something about war most people never understand. Victory rarely looks heroic. It looks complicated. And the closer you move to the top, the more complicated everything becomes. Level 7, Master Chief. Very few reach this level. Master Chief. Decades of missions. Thousands of hours underwater, in aircraft, inside hostile territory. Your name carries weight now. When you walk into a room, conversations pause. Not because of authority, but because of experience. You've seen things few others have. Operations that will never be publicly discussed. You mentor team leaders, advise commanders, protect the culture of the SEAL teams, because culture is what keeps units alive when plans collapse. Young operators still ask you one question more than any other. What's the secret to surviving this job? You usually pause before answering, because the truth isn't heroic. The truth is awareness, discipline, team loyalty, and luck. Lots of luck. But deep down, you know something else. Even the most experienced SEAL can't control everything. And the mission that tests that truth is always somewhere ahead. Level 8, Command Master Chief. This is the final level. You oversee entire SEAL commands, hundreds of operators, multiple teams, global deployments. Your role is no longer about combat alone. It's about direction, strategy, responsibility for every life under your command. Young SEALs still chase glory. They still imagine heroic moments. You understand the bigger picture now. Every mission is a calculation. Risk versus purpose. Cost versus outcome. Sometimes the hardest decision isn't attacking. It's deciding not to. You watch helicopters launch from the deck at night. Operators disappearing into darkness. Just like you once did. For a moment you remember the cold beach where it all started. The freezing surf, the instructors, the bell. Most people never hear that bell ring. Most people never see this world. But you did. And now you understand something the younger version of you never could. Becoming a Navy SEAL isn't about rank. It isn't about medals. It isn't even about combat. It's about transformation. Every stage strips something away. Comfort, ego, fear, until only one thing remains. Commitment. Because the real truth about the SEAL journey is that every level feels impossible until the moment you survive it. And somewhere, right now, another candidate is standing on that same cold beach, staring at the ocean, thinking the exact same thought you once had. Can I really do this? Most won't. A few will. And one of them might eventually stand where you stand now. Looking back at the long, brutal path behind them, realizing the journey didn't just change their career. It changed who they became forever.